Okay, let's call the Mayor Selectmen's meeting to order, June 1st, 2015. Everybody please remove your caps and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pop up there quick. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alma will now sing the national anthem. All right. Okay. Item 3, citizens' comments. Any citizens wishing to be heard? Okay. Approval of minutes, May 18, 2005, Board of Selectmen minutes.
Second.
Motion made, second to approve the minutes. Is there discussion? Any additions, corrections, additions, deletions? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so ordered. Petitions and communications. Do you have any petitions, Denise?
No, sir.
Any communications, Doug?
No.
We're golden. Okay, general government, codification. Hey, dandy Don, still working. A report on special committee, charter revision, you have a list of the changes. Are those the approved changes, Doug?
Those are the ones that have been approved by
The committee.
the committee. There are others that have been approved, but those are the major changes right now.
Where does this go?
This will be going back to them after Bill and I work on a final report, and once it's reviewed by the committee and comes back to you with their recommendation.
Okay.
So this is just trying to update you of some of the changes.
Right. You on that committee, Peter? You're a good man. Okay. Public Facilities Group. The only thing I can say is that we're having a joint meeting of the Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, Planning Commission, and the Facilities Committee on June 18th? 18th, right here in this group. It's hard for them to understand, myself included, because we all agreed to it, that we said, yeah, that guy can go do the engineering and we'll pay him after we get some money. Bill St. Ange went basically ballistic, said, no, if you don't have an appropriation, you can't send anybody out there. A handshake's not good enough. You have to have the money in there. Okay, so Doug's trying to wheel it there to find the money, but that, so far, he hasn't.
How much was it?
38,000.
38,000.
About your,
Still has to be appropriate.
oh, okay.
And the agreement had been he would take it from the sale
The
of the gravel?
Right,
Yeah,
but
that's
it
what I
makes no
thought.
difference.
Whether it comes from general government.
Right, no, I get that.
So we'll have to wait on that. Okay, staff reports. Check it out. This is not a reporting month, but we do have the the planner here. Doug, you have anything, Don, that you want us to talk about?
I don't think there's anything I really have to add to.
Okay.
How's the solar charging stuff, not the solar,
That's right there.
is it in here?
It's ordered.
Yes,
It's ordered. It's being constructed, being built.
If he was more observant in his community, he would have saw that.
It's already been built?
Yes.
Where? Over there at the fire lot?
Okay.
It's being put together. It's being manufactured. Let's put it that
Oh,
way.
all right.
Yeah, okay.
And you're going to get Honda to book up as the sponsor?
Well, we could work on that.
Okay.
A couple interested parties.
That's very nice. Town Administrator's report. You all received Doug's report. If you have any questions for him?
Yes, they do.
How did I know Pete you do?
Second page, Putnam High School project. Still waiting for a revised contract from Eversource.
I have good news. I received the contracts last week. I've had a meeting already with Bill St. Ange, and probably when I get back from Washington next week, I've already talked to Eversource with some of our concerns about the contract. It's nothing that's fatal to changing it. The thing with the high school is pretty much all set. The way they did this is they put together a portfolio approach, so they're including the high school project. There's the two contracts for the high school, one for the 2015 work that needs to be done, and then the 2016 work, which was the major component. The other thing they put in there is the bringing the line down to the tech park. And the initial two customers would be the YMCA, and then we're also putting in a generator for our lift station, which is going to be run off gas. So when they put that portfolio approach together, they put this all together, and the price, no cost to the high school, but the price to the town where we had initially estimated $1 million to bring the gas to the park. They are down to $450,000.
You've done well.
So,
What else, Pete?
Let's see, WPCA. Is there a deadline with regard to the union?
yes, well, technically we should complete our negotiations by June 30th. However, we abide by the contract. We haven't finished our negotiations by July 1. We abide by the existing contract that's in place, and that will stay in place until
With the other contract?
until we have a contract. We have 4 dates proposed. One is June 11th, June 29th, I believe.
They're on Thursday.
Yeah, they're all on Thursdays.
On the YMCA, coordination of the road, bridge, and utility construction between parallel, one, I agree. Where are we on the timeline for this right now, as you see it?
As I see it, we're looking at spring of 2016 for completion of our project. The Y might be a little bit ahead of that schedule. But again, they don't like to open up at certain times of the year, so they might hold off on opening depending on.
Well, they'll be in probably earlier than the spring, maybe.
Yeah.
There's a chance they may.
But again, if we can't open up the bridge, because we don't have the final code on the bridge as of the end of this construction season, then we'll talk about it with the planning commission if they'll allow us to open with just the sealer code on it. So.
And the last thing I had was on the bond anticipation notes.
Yes.
You're working with Paul on an official statement compiling financial information about the anticipated expenses for the bands. Bands will be issued for the project. What's the timeline on this?
The current bans are in place until July 1. We'll be reissuing the bans for the end of November 2015, so November 30th. I'm sorry, that's when the new bans will be issued. Paul and I have been pulling together for all of our projects, and we have how many projects now? 4. We have to put together what's been expended to date and then what the cash flow projections are until the end of that period. So
Everything is looking kosher so far, as you see?
we might need to borrow a little bit more on the high school, which is a good thing, because that's moving along pretty well.
Faster than expected.
Right.
Because we're like
And the other thing is that
Did we get our designation that we're going to be this new straightened out?
that's one of the last things that the General Assembly will have to do before they leave. There shouldn't have been any question based on last year's action, but one thing to bring you up to new information is that on contract 2, we were waiting for the approval from the Department of Health. We got that approval today to move forward with the rebidding. So the bids will go out next week. There will be a return of July 11th when we open up the bids.
This was for what?
The water line, the major component of the contract for the water line replacement and relining. We had to reduce the scope. The reduced scope I saw today was from 40,000 linear feet to 33,000 linear feet.
When's the meeting in July?
July 11th, it's at noon time for the opening of bids.
Yeah, so do we have a meeting?
No, the WPCA opens up. The WPCA project.
But when is the selectmen's meeting in July?
16? 13?
Yeah, one meeting.
So we're not going to have it in time for that meeting?
No.
Selectmen is July 13th.
So it'll be up to that.
Can I ask a question?
Sure. Well, no, through the chair.
Through the chair.
Through you, Mr. Chair.
So, a couple meetings ago, we were talking about marketing a tech park. And I suggested the idea about getting proposals from real estate firms. I also asked our economic development coordinator about her marketing plan, and to date, where are we?
I know she's been talking to firms. I don't know if she's gotten any tentative proposals yet from some of these marketing firms. The one firm that we're high on because of the work they did for the feasibility study, this is one of the firms that she talked to. So I don't know if she's got a proposal from them as to actually what they would do in terms of accomplishing a marketing plan.
So she is not working on a plan herself?
Right, not at this time.
Okay. So what I'd like to know is what I thought would be is a proposal from 3 or 4 different firms, and they could come in and either make a pitch or make a presentation, via proposal, and then we could decide which way we're going to go. But I'd like to do this sooner rather than later, and I guess the other part of the equation is, do we need to involve our partner towns, because we talked about forming a advisory group, if you will.
Right.
And I think it would just be a show of good faith to say, hey, here's the direction we're working on, and get them involved. So
Why don't I have that so we can put it on the agenda for next
Okay.
meeting?
good.
Well, specifically, that will be the,
What about appraisals?
Yeah, how is she doing on those?
I haven't heard anything further, whether she
I
has
asked her about
proposals.
that, I've been pushing her.
Right.
She said she's working with the same firm for the marketing
Right.
to do appraisal. I said, okay. I said, well, we meet twice in June. I'd like to have it for the second meeting in June.
Right.
She was, okay.
Okay.
See, the only thing I don't want to, he said all that I wanted to say. I don't want to hop on the same thing, but we ought to have some kind of a firm date, a deadline, per se. Otherwise, we're going to keep going meeting and meeting and meeting and meeting and meeting, asking the same questions and not having the answers.
Well,
And
the
all
other-
along, we're not ahead of the game.
Right. The
We're
other thing
being
is,
reactive instead of proactive.
the other thing is you're going to start seeing the actual frontage on the access road very shortly. It's already been rough graded, it's all been cleared, it's been rough graded. So you're going to start seeing the format of the tech park very shortly, in terms of where the lots are. One of the questions I want is it better to clear cut the lots to show them, or leave a few trees on? Because we have that one lot that's right next to the Y, and that would be ideal. It's a 3-acre parcel, and if I could clear cut that, it would give a really good indication of what's available on that lot.
I think maybe the marketing firm would have
Yeah.
a
Better
better
idea.
idea. I mean, the houses that I've built, they don't clear cut the lots.
Right.
It's kinda, but that's a house. I don't have
Yeah.
any experience in
Yeah.
putting a.
Where do we stand on Dexter's property right now? Is there any update?
Yes, based on your actions, authorizing the mayor to sign the release of the lien,
Right.
that has been signed. It's just a matter of, they have a 30-day period in which they do their due diligence, and I don't think the 30-day period is up until probably next week or so.
Next week,
So we'll report back when we hear definitely on that. Just for your information, we had a foreclosure sale this weekend. One of the properties was taken off, it was over on Providence Street. It's one of the stores next to, a little bit towards the church, from Taco, whatever, the turtle place.
Turtles.
And the other one was this property, Victorian, right here at
28 Woodstock.
Woodstock Avenue. And nobody bid. The first property was taken off because it was, they filed for bankruptcy, so they had to take that off of the blocks. This one, the town bid on that property, and we got the bid, so as soon as it clears,
Pay back your taxes?
they will pay back our taxes. So once we get it cleared, we have an option to sell that property. We don't like to be in that business, but in case of getting our money back,
Yeah.
yeah,
What did we bid on it?
50,000,
And what's over the taxes?
55. Taxes and WPCA.
Taxes, water, lawyers' fees, and some other things.
Yeah, committee fees, lawyer fees.
Dusty, did you get anywhere with the Equilibrate on the sodium and?
They keep coming back to us and say it's an aberration, or whatever they call it.
Aberration, but it happened 3 or 4
Yeah, but
times.
what
That's not an
they're,
aberration.
and I haven't gotten back yet, and I don't know the state has given them an answer yet, to change the format, not the format, but the, what do you call this thing, the indicator? The sodium indication. So
Sodium.
it doesn't become, it's not always going to be an issue, so.
But until they do it, it's an issue.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Well, the state hasn't responded to Wheelbrae yet on their proposal, so.
Doug?
Getting back to the Woodstock property that we won the auction for $50,000. Didn't we have a lien on that property?
Yes.
Taxes?
Yes.
So why do we have to sell it? If there's a lien on it, we're gonna get the taxes anyway, regardless of who buys it.
Yeah, but we're not getting a lot of these properties paying their taxes, so. and fees, so. We have a lot of properties out there. I have a whole list, I'll be glad to send you the whole list of properties that are, owe the town considerable amount of money, so.
We were advised by
In this,
Bill St.
what about
Ange
in
that
this case though, in this specific case?
Bill doesn't want to be the hard guy, so he sends all the foreclosures and the bankruptcies to Blue Yard, who also represents us. And he said, you're better off buying it rather than letting it go and get clean up, because it could be there for another 20 years. So he said,
You're not forcing anybody to sell it.
Right, this way you buy it, the town can sell it, and get everything back.
What was the next bid?
There was no,
There's no bid.
we were the only bidder on it.
The opening bid was 50, and that was it.
That's kind of where I'm going at. We bid against ourselves for that property.
Well, but they wouldn't have taken less than 50 for it. If they hadn't gotten a bid of 50,
Do you know this?
it would have been off the blocks. It's been the case in every foreclosure sale I've known of. The bank sets a minimum.
Yeah. that's just-
Everyone I've been to, I
Yeah.
get all
But do
excited.
we know that the minimum was 50 on that property?
It's whatever the taxes that were, and fees due,
So you said it was 55, right?
about 55. But we did look, within that range, so, if somebody came with 65, we'd get it covered, so.
Okay,
I see what you mean.
let's go on to unfinished business. Kunibak Regional Tech Park.
Aside from what we discussed, I will bring that back at the next meeting after.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on that? And the next one is B. Stevens said, I hope I answered all the information that we have. We basically can't do anything until there's money or appropriation. It's as simple as that.
So what's the next step?
Next step, we're all meeting together so everybody knows what the steps are going to be. And dates, we'll put dates out there. By this day, you're going to do this. By this day, you're going to do that.
Well, when is the meeting with the selectmen?
18th.
I understand from, did you tell us, Denise, that there was only 2 people that signed up so far for that, besides the facilities group?
Well, that's okay, Peter, they've been noticed. So when they say, well, I didn't know about it,
No.
I didn't know what you're talking about. So it just takes a lot of the heat off of the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance. Because I went to the Board of Finance meeting, they were angry. And they're saying, you can't do that. We're not going to give you the money because there's no money appropriated. And as good a guy as this guy is, Messier, and he's good friends with Ross, you can't go on somebody's word.
No, I'm not
Especially for
advocating.
38,000.
Right.
There is an agenda item that I brought for your review, and if you would, just to keep this on track, if you would review the process and also refer the matter to the Board of Finance for the next meeting, and for both Board of Finance and the Planning Commission for their meeting in June, so we can keep the ball rolling on
I
it.
guess the point I was trying to make is, on that committee, one of the committees is the finance committee. So you would think they would have some representation here during that meeting, is what I'm trying to say.
He'll be here.
Joe Nash, RSVP'd in the affirmative.
Joe's here.
And some people may not have gotten their emails yet. I mean, the invitation went out, what, Friday? Thursday? Yeah, it wasn't long ago.
Good news, guys, I won't be in town, so.
Oh, I don't hear this
Oh.
Denver stuff.
We're gonna roll over you anyway.
That's right. All right, number 11, grant consideration.
Mr. Mayor, I need a motion to refer to the Planning Commission and the Board of Finance for the meeting in June to request, recommend appropriation of $39,000.
I'll move that.
Yes. Second discussion. Explain what you want to do now?
Excuse me?
Explain what you want to do?
Any appropriation has to go to, be referred to the Board of Finance and the Planning Commission.
Right.
So if we're going to, the schedule calls for us to warn the special town meeting on July 29th for this purpose at the July 13th meeting. So the next meeting of the Board of Finance before that meeting is June 22nd.
Okay.
So you need it. Go through them.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it, so ordered. Okay. Any grant considerations?
Yes, you have a new item, which is to approve,
Do we have to add that?
yes. So it's a loan and grant to accept loan and grant from the USDA for $1,580,000, and this is for the manganese treatment building project. It's been appropriated by the town meeting. This is just to the approval that the USDA needs.
I move that we make that,
Well, we have to put it on the agenda first.
right, move we make that agenda item 12, EF.
So, second rather.
Motion made to add the loan requisition 12F. All those in favor? Anybody opposed? Ayes have it, okay. We'll get down there, we'll talk about that. Number A, make an appointment to Putnam of a Putnam resident to the YMCA. Do we have something to appoint?
Peter Place.
Oh, that's nice.
Awesome.
Who?
Peter Place.
I'll make that a motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded by Alma to put Peter Place on the regional YMCA board. There was not one Putnam resident on the YMCA board. And I know it's a regional, but it is in Putnam.
There wasn't one Putnam one?
Well, we got one now. If you guys vote for Peter Place.
Before that, there wasn't one?
No.
No.
Well, you had Ron Kadir and you had Lee Kinnicky.
Yes. No comment.
But
Oh,
according to our agreement with the YMCA, when we gave them the donation, it was to be a member appointed by the Board of Selectmen to that advisory board.
Okay, let's get going here. All those in favor of Peter Place?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Ayes have it. Denise sent one note saying, Peter, you're it. Ground lease consideration. What's that?
This is the process to consider the First Amendment and restated ground lease. After discussions, Don Musial has contacted us and said, where do we stand with the ground lease? And we've basically been holding off because of the budget considerations. So now that the budget process is done, we've been asked to revisit this question again. So this is the process which we would, should lead to the point where you would have a special town meeting on July 29th. So tonight you would schedule a public hearing on the amended lease for June 25th. The Board of Finance and Planning Commission review would be on June 22nd. You would hold a public hearing on June 25th. Then at the regular meeting, your regular meeting of July 15th, you would warn the special town meeting for July 29th.
You got that? Okay.
So I need a motion to refer
So
to
moved.
Planning and Finance, Board of Finance.
Okay, motion made by Scotland, second by Owen.
So it's going to where now, what you said?
Board of Finance and the Planning Commission on June 22nd, and to schedule a public hearing, and we have a call for the public hearing.
Okay.
Go pass around.
Tony, if I may
Yes,
quickly,
ma'am.
I just
For
would say,
discussion.
I really appreciate you setting forth all the steps with the dates. I really, really appreciate having that on paper.
I appreciate it too, Doug.
Thank you, you're welcome.
He did it just for you, Renee. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Ayes have it, so ordered. We're back to Saban Street again. Saban Street, Recreation. There's nothing to talk about there, because we have to wait till we get the whole process.
We already took care of
We
it.
took care of that. Okay, let's go. Approval of bills.
Make the motion, we pay all approved bills.
Second. Motion made and second approve all approved bills. Are there any objections? Then all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Anybody opposed?
Good news is Caroline Barron is back.
I was going to do other business.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He jumps the gun.
Johnny jumped.
Any other business?
Should be here.
Any other business to come before this board? Carolyn Parent is back in the office.
Oh, nice.
Thanks.
I have one question.
What's your question?
On a 3-minute job,
Yeah.
so we had a picture in the paper, I think it was in the bulletin,
On the
about our farmers market and everything. First, front page.
Okay.
But I don't think that they mentioned nothing about any of the Putnam residents as being a part of this. This is sort of what Doug was bringing up the last time we met. And I know what we have to do with regard to having the dollars up front for insurance and all the other ramifications we have to go through and whatnot. But isn't there something, I think we got to look at this as something that, what can we do for our own people that can't afford afford these outlandish prices for insurance and all the other fees that are built into being there. Because I can remember that my parents used to have a garden and whatnot, and they used to sell it way back when. We don't seem to have anything like that in Putnam anymore. I don't see any avenue that anybody in Putnam or even in Thompson could even come to Putnam or sell their goods. It's only you have it by the farmer's market, or that's it. There's no place else.
I can think of at least 3 people in Putnam, and probably more if I really gave it more than 30 seconds thought, where people sell out of their houses or off their driveways. Whether or not it's legal and they pay permits for it, I don't know. But I can think of at least 3 offhand.
I'm
where they
talking
do
about
that
doing
every
it
year.
legally. I'm talking about doing it legally.
Well, they may be.
I'm saying if we could find a way of not saying we can't do it and finding ways why we can't do it, instead of looking at it positively to find a way where we can do it. That's what I'm saying. So with your legal background, maybe you could look in that for us to see if there's a way we can get this done without too much added cost. That's my point.
That's your charge. Also,
Yeah,
to
well,
me-
I gotta
I
say,
agree, I agree with Doug in a way. I think there's nothing up there, and selling fruit and vegetables, I don't see the big whoopee-doo about that. Someone eats a tomato, they get sick.
But
Yeah.
that's the problem, somebody eats a tomato and gets sick,
yeah.
and we haven't followed.
That has
the
nothing to
rules.
do with the town.
If they sell it, if we sponsor it,
Listen,
it does.
somebody could
Yeah.
get sick from something sold at the farmer's market.
And they have insurance.
I
And we
understand
know
that.
they have
I
insurance.
understand that. What I'm
And the
getting at,
state tests crops randomly to make sure that what these farmers are selling.
What I'm getting
It's
at is,
safe.
I think last month when we brought up this topic, it got way ahead of where I was hoping it would go. For instance, I asked if there was a way that we could help Putnam residents obtain this permit. And then we got into soil samples and PCBs and railroad tracks. It got way out in left field. I'd like to, if we could rein it back in a little bit, like Pete said tonight, and I haven't talked to him about it, so thank you for bringing it up, buddy. Is there a way that we can say, you know what, we don't do this now, but rather than try to find a way not to do it, let's try to find a way to do it? Like, it costs $250 for somebody to obtain this permit. They've got to go through a police background check. They've got to obtain $1 million worth of insurance, and they've got to wear badges. So I'm wondering, is there a way for us as the governing body of the town to ease that burden on Putnam residents, and even further, maybe even just Putnam residents who want to sell agricultural-related items? I know we've talked about this at length at the POCD meeting, the Plan of Conservation and Development, at length, and everyone is 100% in favor of us trying to find a solution to this, because there's no one from Putnam who has this permit who sells agriculture-related items. 0. That's the number. And I would like to find a way, if we could cultivate people in Putnam or encourage people in Putnam
But
to
you
be able to
think-
do this.
You think nobody has it because they can't afford the permit fee and the insurance?
I think, I don't know the answer to that question,
Okay.
but, as I said last month, I would like to offer the opportunity to people who pay taxes, at least in East Putnam, to utilize the East Putnam parking lot over there at the firehouse to do this. But I can tell you, from this point forward, those requirements would automatically disqualify everybody, because
Nobody's there now.
who's
Scott.
gonna go
No,
through a
but-
police background check and pay $250 to sell squash?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I didn't know, one, what the demand is.
Yeah.
And
I don't know
two,
what the
what the
demand is.
I
sales-
think we need to find
What
out
the
what
road
the
was.
regulatory requirements are
There'd
for
be 2
selling.
people in East Putnam want to do that.
Who-
It'd be worthwhile to do that.
Well,
Is the East
it's not
Putnam-
gonna cost us anything, though.
But is that on governmental land?
What's that?
Is the East Putnam Fire on governmental land?
Yep.
That's my only concern. If East Putnam had a big, huge lot that Peter, we know he's a land baron, owned. And he says, yeah, if East Putnam guys want to sell fruit and vegetables there, use my land, I don't give a rat's fanny.
Right.
I'd have no problem with that. But because it's on East Putnam Fireplace, and that's a governmental piece of property, then you get too many people involved. Then the state comes in and the first, hey, did you authorize that? Well, yeah, it's no harm, no foul. He goes, yeah, there's a foul. Now, I don't want to get into that hassle. But I agree, I think there should be something way the hell out there so people can sell their crops. But I don't think it should be on the firehouse property. Is there land next to you guys? You got 55 billion acres up there.
Well, it still can't be on their property.
So still
So
be
it would
on
have to
their
be
land.
That's
somewhere
right,
else.
all right.
Well, can we ask Bill to take a look at it?
Yes, that's
All
going
right,
to be,
so
that's going to be Renee's charge.
Sure.
Lawyer to lawyer, head to head, find out. As
Yeah,
St.
I
Ange,
mean-
Bouillard, and Velasco. Sounds like a Jewish law firm.
Yeah,
All right?
I mean,
That'll clear the air, Pete.
yeah.
And it's still time, because you're not going to harvest until another month or so.
Yeah, I mean, Doug, I'll tell you, since the last meeting, I've barely had a chance to sit down, so I haven't had a chance to start looking at the Commerce Clause issue. I talked to the fellow I practice law with. It may not be as tricky as I thought it might be, so that's a plus.
Good.
Because we're looking town to town, not state to state. But we'll see, and I'll talk to Bill.
Well, you brought up an interesting point. Is it done in other towns? Not as elaborate as our farmer's market, but for example, what do they do in Pomfret? They don't have any farmer's markets, but do they have a scenario like Doug talks about?
Not that I know of.
They may, but it's
There
not
are,
on
'cause
any town
there are
property.
people that I know who live in Killingly who sell down here at our farmer's market that also sell in two other farmer's markets. I think one in Killingly and maybe one in Sterling or Plainfield.
Well, if you're talking about farmers that sell here on either Monday or Thursday, they're part of the Northeast Connecticut Farmers Cooperative, which holds multiple markets. Monday they're in Putnam, Tuesday,
Yeah, I know there's an alliance.
yeah, they're in twice in Putnam, once in Killingly, once in Plainfield, once in Brooklyn.
Now,
So they have markets 5 days a
You
week.
need a
They have to
license for
do
that.
the background check and all that?
All right, well, let's leave it, let's leave it
There's
alone.
requirements for the
And
farmer's
let-
market
let-
to be part of it.
Yeah.
Let Renee come back with a report at the next meeting.
So whatever.
Okay, that will satisfy you
whatever
guys?
they
She
want.
comes back to the next meeting? Okay. Renee, that's your charge, and you'll do this for free.
You know, I keep working for people for free. I don't understand.
Okay, maybe someone to this comments would like to make a comment. Norm?
Just for information, I know they talked about the releasing of town liens, town owed money, and so that everybody's aware of it, what I just recently found out concerning the Prospect Street house that has recently been sold with $70,000 worth of taxes and water and sewer liens were not released on the sale, which is a big question mark to me, because I was on the assumption that the town liens property, it would have to be
Would be
released on
inclusive.
sale.
We're first in line, if those are
Well-
Would be inclusive.
According,
We didn't take a vote, did we?
I'm leaning to legal, because I talked to Bill Sanos tonight at the
Yeah.
budget meeting, and he said that that's not always true.
Right, if you're willing to buy, I mean, most buyers aren't willing to buy encumbered property because you're getting a pig in a poke. However, you may buy without the liens being released. There's nothing legally prohibiting you from it. Just most buyers are going to want to take a clean title rather than a title with liens and other encumbrances on
Oh,
it.
so we've still perfected our security.
We're still there.
We're still
Yeah.
first in line, but
Yeah.
if this person probably paid cash,
Right,
therefore there's
so
no.
there you go, there's no,
So there's no guarantee that we're going to get our tax money.
Right.
Correct.
I thought that was the intent of putting the lien on the property.
Exactly.
On the next
It
sale
is.
of
The
property,
property
that clear
gets
title.
transferred.
If it
You
gets
can't hold up the
transferred.
transfer. You can't
Right.
prohibit the recording of the deed.
So can our lawyer go after the second buyer?
What?
the
Yeah,
lien's
it's
still in
already on
place.
it.
though.
The lien's still
The
on it.
the
all right.
lien doesn't move.
Doug,
Well,
I mean, the
Okay.
question is
That
how
means the
you
lien is
collect
worth
on a
nothing.
lien.
yeah, it's
Correct.
on, it's on. We're gonna get money from that.
Well, I think there's there's a
Go ahead, Norm.
process for collecting.
Two, with it, are we now obligated to provide him with a demolition permit to continue on this?
Yes.
Yes.
Why not? Any improvements is gonna protect us even more.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the property's gonna be worth more money. We're still sitting number one, and you know what? We're number one, what, doesn't matter what they do. They'll never be able to borrow money from a bank to do it.
Right.
Yeah, that was right, pay cash.
first.
That's,
The bank
because
won't
with the
lend
bank
any money
involved,
with a tax
there's no way that would've happened.
I
Exactly.
didn't know that you could obtain a piece of property that had a lien on it and not pay
Yeah.
a lien. I didn't know that.
Yeah, all cash
I didn't
transactions.
Like, take a
Cash.
risk.
Yeah, take it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a dumb buyer.
Okay.
We skipped over the one that I added. Yeah. Just to let you know.
Oh, sorry.
I spent all that time and effort.
You did,
to put
okay,
it on.
let's
There's something about a loan.
Manganese,
No, it wasn't made, yeah.
manganese money.
So read your motion, Scott.
I don't have a motion.
Yes, you put it on the agenda, so you have it.
Oh, I authorized the mayor to sign, the loan resolution in the amount of, $1,580,000. And a grant of, on the second page of $508,200.
Your second is Scotland's motion.
Second.
Discussion.
This has already been appropriated.
Appropriated.
See, there's no more discussion. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Okay.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it, so ordered. Is there any other business come before this council?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion made to adjourn, is there a second?
Yes.
Second by Doug. All those in favor? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.